Published 0932 EDT, the 26th of August 2017. Updated 1032 EDT, the 26th of August 2017. Even later and worth even more. For the second time in the space of 6 days, Raheem Sterling allowed Manchester City to walk away from a ropey performance with something to show for it. Against Everton on Monday, that meant an 82nd-minute goal and a salvaged point. Here, it was a grubby deflection more than 7 minutes into stoppage time and a win instead of what would have been a rather embarrassing draw. For his trouble, he collected a second yellow card for over-celebrating with Manchester City's supporters, the kind of refereeing decision that can be truly baffling. Raheem Sterling scored a 96th-minute winner for Manchester City at Bournemouth's Vitality Stadium on Saturday afternoon, but Sterling was sent off moments later as referee Mike Dean gave him a second yellow card for running into the City fans. Sterling's winner came from almost the final kick of the game as his deflected effort looped beyond goalkeeper Asmir Begovic. That was not the end of the action, though, as City's players rushed over to the away end, where police told them to back off, but that, on balance, will be a price worth paying for Guardiola, a manager who bought north of £130 million worth of full-backs this summer and looked like he was going to suffer here because of a left-back who spent the majority of his career in League One. The goal Charlie Daniels scored to put Bournemouth in front on 13 minutes might yet go through the season as the best. It was magnificent, a thing of beauty given the power of the hit and the absurdity of the angle it came from. But City are too good to lie down and they were level on 20 minutes, Gabriel Jesus scoring as the lone striker after Sergio Aguero was surprisingly dropped. That little drama will rumble on, just as it did last season. Interestingly, the Argentine was put on the bench for this fixture in that campaign as well, a wonderful striker who simply does not seem to do it for Guardiola. For a time, that seemed to be the decision that would define this match, but then up popped Sterling for the most dramatic and latest of winners. It preserves City's unbeaten start and leaves Bournemouth pointless in 3, sending Guardiola into an utter frenzy at the whistle. There was a lot on his head for this game and it would not have been a good look to drop points against a team they have dominated in the past 2 seasons. Indeed, their aggregate score from 4 wins was 151. Bournemouth left-back Daniels broke the deadlock with an incredible angled half-volley from just outside the penalty area. His shot was hit so cleanly that City goalkeeper Ederson was beaten in a flash as the ball flew into the net via the crossbar. There did not appear to be much danger as Daniels lined up to strike a ball headed clear by City captain Vincent Kompany, but the Cherries' full-back connected with his efforts as sweetly as goalkeeper Ederson watched on from his near post after the ball left the boot of Daniels. It rocketed past 3 City players before whistling beyond the diving stopper Ederson. Daniels celebrated his first goal of the season by leaping high into the air in front of but not too close to his delighted fans, but Bournemouth's lead lasted less than 10 minutes as City quickly struck back courtesy of Brazilian striker Gabriel Jesus. Jesus poked home the equalizer with his right boot after holding off the challenge of Cherries defender Nathan Ake. Jesus celebrated his goal with City teammate Sterling, who was making his first start of the 201,718 season, but this was anything but straightforward, even if City did largely dominate on the back of their 11 draw with Everton. Guardiola made 4 changes to his personnel from the clash, bringing in Benjamin Mendy, Danilo, Bernardo Silva and Raheem Sterling for John Stones, the suspended Kyle Walker, Leroy Sane and Aguero. Interestingly, he also went to 4 at the back for the first time this season, giving Mendy almost complete freedom to attack from left-back on his Premier League debut following his £52 million move from Monaco, and entitled Danilo a similar privilege on the right. Predictably, it made for crash-bang wallop attacks and facepalm follow-ups when the moves broke down and Bournemouth had clear air to counter. For that reason, City frequently looked vulnerable, particularly in the first 20 minutes, even if the goal they conceded had nothing to do with tactics, possession lost by Fernandinho early in the move, the microclimate, or anything else. It was simply a sublime hit, set up, in so much as a wonder goal can be, by Vincent Kompany's headed clearance to Dan Gosling's cross. The ball came out to the left of City's area, about 15 yards out from the byline. A tight angle, no obvious options except to cross a layoff. But Daniels, up from left-back, acted on the bounce and the shot followed one of those flight paths reserved for the spectacular. Guardiola, a man who has spent north of £133 million on fullbacks this summer, looked rather miffed, with Jesus starting up front as the spearhead of City's attack. Fellow striker Sergio Aguero began the match on the bench. Benjamin Mendy made his debut for City following his £52 million arrival from French champions AS Monaco this summer. Mendy looked good going forward and almost claimed a first-half assist, but his volleyed cross was diverted off target by Jesus on the other side of the pitch. Right back Danilo was also making his City debut, in place of Kyle Walker, who was banned. Danilo came close to scoring but was denied by Begovic, who also kept out efforts by Bernardo Silva and Fernandinho. Bournemouth could then have had a second, with Jermaine Defoe sliding into a volley 8 yards out but failing to direct his shot away from Ederson. Not for the last time, City's defence didn't look watertight in the build-up, with Defoe finding a dangerous amount of space between Mendy and Nicolas Otamendi. But from there, City got to grip. As an attacking force, there are no squads in this division who are better stocked, even if this was a match where they missed more than they should. The chance they took came on 21 minutes, originating with a quick free kick in the Bournemouth half before, like the home goal, a piece of individual skill made the difference. In this case, it was the assist, with David Silva taking a touch and threading the most delightful of passes beyond Nathan Ake and into Jesus' path. He finished past Asmir Begovic for his first goal of the season. Hosts Bournemouth hit the post in the second half through Joshua King, before Nicolas Otamendi hooked the ball to safety. Aguero was introduced on 66 minutes, replacing Bernardo. He was given instructions from Pep Guardiola before coming on. The Argentine had a good chance to put City back in front, but his low effort was saved by Begovic. City then came even closer as Otamendi headed against the post after being left unmarked at a corner. Steve Cook was one of many players to receive a yellow card during the match, but he got away with a very hard tackle. Cook was perhaps lucky to not be penalised for a slide tackle which sent Jesus flying. Referee didn't even call a foul from there. It was a procession of wasteful finishes as Jesus missed a couple of reasonable openings, the first of which came from a quite sublime volley across goal from Mendy. Bernardo Silva, making his first Premier League start, also shot straight at the keeper, and Otamendi headed against the post in the second half. For his part, Aguero, on Jesus in the 66th minute, also curled a free kick wide. Reasonably dominant, but none of it was quite what it should have been for what it has cost. For Bournemouth, limited to around 30% of the ball, there were moments where it might have been even better, most notably when City played themselves into trouble and in the reshuffle Josh King rattled a post. In stoppage time, the same player drew a save from Ederson. Once more, Guardiola looked fit to blow. But then it changed. Changed for Sterling, changed for City, with Danilo playing a ball across the area, Sterling taking a touch and bundling in via Andrew Sermon's ankle. Cruel on Bournemouth, but Dean was busy and showed 11 yellow cards, 5 to Bournemouth and 6 to City, including 2 for winger Sterling. Bournemouth piled players behind the ball as they attempted to cling on to a Premier League point in the final moments, but the tactic worked against them as Sterling's shot took a crucial deflection which ultimately deceived goalkeeper Begovic. City were understandably thrilled, but the celebrations were deemed to be a safety risk and sent off. Sterling paid the price.